I hope all is going well and you're having a beautiful, blessed day. Today I want to hang out with you and share with you a Q&A that I originally did on October 6th on Facebook. As you guys may or may not know, October 6th was Cerebral Palsy Awareness Day. And it has become, within the last few years in my life, something to really be celebrated. So I asked my friends and family on my social media to send me some questions regarding CP, where I could give my opinion on different things. And I got 6 wonderful questions, and I want to share them with you right now. The first question was, or is, what is the biggest misconception about cerebral palsy? So we could take this question 2 ways. The first misconception is that CP is medically the same for everybody. And that is simply not true. I believe there are 4 different types of CP. And it depends, the type you get depends on where your injury happens in your brain. And so that is one misconception, the medical misconception. The second misconception is the social misconception. The social misconception is that people with CP cannot advocate for themselves, cannot speak for themselves. And quite often, people, if in fact they are in conversation with a person that is in a wheelchair or using a piece of equipment, and a person that is seemingly non-disabled, I hate using the word able-bodied. I believe that word should be done away with. But that is only my opinion, so please don't come after me. I believe that people that are in conversation need to learn that we as people with CP have our own opinions, have our own way of communicating. And yes, some of us may use devices, some of us may use sign language, some of us may be able to speak as I'm speaking to you right now. But don't judge a book by its cover. Ask the person what they actually want or what they actually need or desire to have. And don't be afraid of starting a conversation with somebody with CP. Question number 2 is, were you born premature? Yes, I was born 11 weeks premature, and I spent 3 months of my life, the first 3 months of my life, in the hospital. And during the first month, I had my first major operation, which was a shunt placement, because I initially was born with hydrocephalus, but I was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when I was 1 month old. Question number 3 is simply, how are you doing? I am doing so well right now in my life. I have this new part of me has just woken up in my life. And for those of you who might not know, I started using a wheelchair back in 2021 again, after a very, very long time of denying that I needed one. I thought I was going to be that miracle kid who got up and walked. I was constantly in therapy, and then there came a point in my life where I just didn't want to do therapy anymore, because I just didn't want to put up with it. And then subsequently after that, that was my teenage years. But after that, I went to college, and at the end of college, I was always asked all the time, are you going to get any better? Can I ask you what's wrong with you? And things of that nature. And so that led me into a tailspin of thinking that something was wrong with me and thinking that I needed to be fixed. But now I see so many different, I see things in such a different way. And that happened because in 2020, when the pandemic started, I had been out with my parents, or this was actually before that, but I had started watching videos from Wheels to Walking, who is a creator here on YouTube. And he put out a few videos. One that really made a difference in my life was It's All in Your Head. Go look it up. It's a great video. One is called It's All in Your Head, and the second one is called Equipment is Only Equipment. And so those two videos are something that I clinged to for about a year. I just kept rewatching them to get the message into my head. And my life just changed. I signed up for Rolex Experience virtually in 2021, which was the most fantastic experience that I ever had. And so after that, I signed up for the Boundless Babe Society, which is a mentorship community, which I will do a separate video on YouTube to explain what that is. But it is a phenomenal community. Both the Rolettes and BBS are two phenomenal communities that I just love. And so I am doing the best that I have in a long time. So number 4 is, do you have a plan for the future? Now this came from a friend of mine who is also a creator on YouTube. Her name is Emily. She goes by Emily's Life on Wheels on YouTube. And yes, I do have sort of a plan for life, but like I said initially in my podcast, it is pretty much a plan of seeing the steps I need to take, but not seeing the entire staircase yet. So I know how I am going to get dressed. I know what I need to do if I need to prep stuff by myself, say food or my clothing or anything like that. I am learning how to use my walker basket. Not learning, but I'm trying to keep up the habit of using my walker basket. So therefore, it's like a third hand of sorts, and it makes me a lot more independent in life. Which I've kind of, as of this episode today, I've kind of fallen off the habit, and I need to put my basket back on. And so I have that in place. I have those skills in place. And I really want to bring up the point of, if you are a person who is planning for your future, and say that you live with a caretaker that is a family member, or your mother or your father or your brother or your sister or what have you, I would really suggest that anybody who's listening to this go to physical therapy for life skills therapy. I know that for a lot of people, physical therapy can be a sore spot, because PT is also a mental battle. It's not just a physical battle where you learn how to do stretches and things. It can also weigh down on you mentally. And so, a little bit of my story: I was in PT from the age of 1 to the age of 13. And when I was 13, I spoke up and I said, I'm not doing this anymore. It's my body. You know, essentially, I've said, forget it. So I lived like that, away from therapy for 2 years after that. And subsequently, because I lived away from therapy so long, I had to have a major surgery when I was 15 because my muscles got tight and I got hard to walk, and things were happening to my legs that just wasn't healthy for me. So I had that operation. I got back into walking, and over time things have changed. My perspective on my life has changed, but the best thing that happened in my life, I think, was when I was 21 years old. Actually, I was 20. When I was 20, I was going into my final year of therapy as a kid, and I wanted to do life skills therapy, and I was kind of coached into wanting to do life skills therapy because my therapist and my family and soon me thought that it would be the best thing to that it would be the best thing for my future and my health and my life to have that independence. So I would say, if you are a prayerful person, pray on it. Ask other people if they think that it will benefit you. But ultimately, it is your decision whether you want to do it or not. So I have that in place for the future, but this life is a journey, and I don't have everything in place yet. So my next question is, question number 5 is, what do you wish people most understood about you? Okay, so the thing that I wish people understood about me is that I am not, and we as people, whether we have something that can be called a disability or not, we as people are not going to be 100% all of the time. We are not super people. And we are not Superman, we are not Superwoman, we are not Wonder Girl, what have you. So I am not going to be at 100% all of the time. And just because I did something perfectly one day doesn't mean I'm going to do it perfectly all the time. So I would say, have a little bit of grace for me. And then I would say to myself, have a little bit of grace for yourself to mess up and get things wrong. I know that one of the things that I have to work on is positive self-talk. And I'm not saying the positive self-talk of just think positive thoughts, everything will be fine. But I'm saying the positive self-talk from a faith perspective. God created you, He loves you, He has you. Just trust Him and things will be good. My life verse, or one of my life verses that I live by is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, and it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path." So I truly, truly believe that with all my heart. But yet I am still a fallible human, and sometimes I forget. My heart remembers, but my mind forgets. So I would say have grace for yourself and just be willing to dive back into whatever activity that you seemingly messed up on, because maybe it's not a mess up. Maybe it's just that you didn't do it your version of perfect. And then the last question is, what is my biggest struggle? Okay, so lately, and what I had talked about in the past on the podcast, is that my biggest struggle was and is sometimes getting dressed, because I have to be very strategic about the things that I wear and the type of material that I put on my body, because not all material is grabbable. I do use a reacher to get dressed, and I had noticed in probably about a month ago now, for a period of about 3 weeks, that I had trouble putting my pants on, and I thought it was me getting weak. But it turned out that when I tested my reacher that I was using, I have 2 identical reachers that I use to get dressed. And I only use one, but I had 2 just in case the situation that happened actually happened. So what happened was that the spring in my reacher got weak, and I was not able to pull up my pants the way I would have liked, as quickly as I would have liked either. So my brain had fooled me into thinking I was getting weak. But as soon as I pulled out that other reacher, I was able to get myself dressed quickly. I do only need the reacher for my pants, so I was able to put on my pants really quickly, and that was that. But I would definitely say, as a strategy point, know what all materials are different. So know what materials work best for you in getting dressed. I know for me, if something is very, very cottony soft and has no toughness to it, like no elastic to it, it is very, very hard to put on, because that material is very slippery. So for me, when I wear workout pants, I have to wear pants that are a little bit hard on the top, on the band. I love wearing denim. I love wearing jeans because they are so easy to put on. I do have to be aware of torn denim jeans, because my feet, as well as many others, I've heard that your feet actually go through the holes instead of going through the legs. So I have to be very careful of that. And I just enjoy wearing, t-shirt type of blouses. I wear a lot of tunics, and I wear a lot of dresses. And a tip for you, whether you are somebody who has a disability or not, if you wear a dress, go ahead and wear bike shorts underneath. I learned this trick from a fashion blogger that I was following many, many years ago. Or not many years ago, just I believe 2 years ago. To wear shorts underneath their dresses, because it gives you ladies a lot of freedom to move around, and you could have moments where you're not necessarily a lady in your dress. So those are the tips that I have for you right now, and I look forward to talking to you soon again. I do come out with Bible study videos or sermon note videos every week or so, and I just look forward to sharing all that info with you. I'll talk to you guys later. I love you. God bless, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.